Going side by side down here is not a great idea. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, there's fucking Anarchy. What's going on, guys? My name's Batilio and welcome back to Project Cars 2 and the 10th and final round of the WSRC GT5 Cup. And this is it, guys. It's the season finale. We're finally here. It's been a long season. It's been an enjoyable one. There's been some great moments and great racing and a few frustrating moments as well. But we're finally here, the finale, the last two races of the season. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. There's still quite a bit to decide in terms of the league table, the point standings and so on. We'll take a look at that in a moment before we kick the first race off. But yeah, as always, and for one more time this season, we're going to kick the episode off by taking a look to see how myself and everybody else got on in qualifying for the sprint race. So, on to qualifying, and this was one of our better qualifying sessions of the season, truth be told. As you can see at the moment, we're sitting second, but Nasty PJ, straight off the bat, I think it was his first quali run, put in a 1:49.5, which nobody, including myself, had been able to get even close to. But my first qualifying lap wasn't very good. I spent some time trying to, you know, just build myself up and get into it. I did have a little bit of an issue trying to get heat into the tyres to do the first couple of runs, but we're pretty much on what will be our last qualifying run because the time is about to run out. We're not going to, I don't think we're going to get there in time to start another quali run. But yeah, I've been slowly chipping away at it, and I've moved myself up the standings, and we're currently sitting in second. In terms of the setup and practice, I was around sort of like this level. Our best time currently is a 1:50.0, so I was getting this sort of time around the around practice. So I was, you know, around where I thought I'd be in terms of lap time. But I mean, overall, in terms of setup, though, there's not really many changes. I think this setup was just pretty much like for like with that of Sugo. Because I've all but given up on trying to figure this car out in terms of how to get it over the curves without it throwing a complete fit, a complete wobbly on me. So I just decided to go with the setup that dealt with the curves best, and from memory it was just Sugo popped in my head as the one where I didn't have to struggle with curbing or whatnot, even though we did have a fairly big accident there. So yeah, that's the setup I got, and the only adjustments I made was to the fuel and the gearing for that one. So yeah, I mean, overall it's not a bad qualifying session. As you can see, we're coming through the final corner. We're up by quite a distance, so we're half a second back on Nasty PJ. So as we come down the start-finish straight and across the line, it's going to be a 1:49.160, which at this point puts us on provisional pole. And happily, I can announce that finally, for the first time this season, we take pole position in something other than the feature race, because the grid order for the feature race is set from the finishing order of the sprint race, so it doesn't really count. But we managed to get pole position for the first and only time it'll prove to be this season, so I'm very, very happy with that. We've had a couple of attempts, a couple of times where we've sat second on the grid through a qualifying session, and we haven't just been able to manage that one person who just put up an absolutely stellar lap. But today the person with the stellar lap is myself, so I'm very, very happy for that. Looking at the rest of the finishing order for the qualifying session, you got our title rival Nasty PJ in second place, so that's going to make for a very interesting race. He's followed by JLBW in third. Then we've got Mitch with one of his better, if not his best, qualifying session of the season, starting in fourth. He's followed by Twisted Tyre, Fitter and Tro. And then we have Colonel Red Eye, Paul, who didn't have a very good qualifying at all. He showed a real turn of speed recently over the last few rounds, but he just couldn't hook up a lap today. So he will start from 8th. And the final car on the grid is Matt Jeffrey, who, as you can see, didn't put up a valid time or a qualifying time at all, so he will start from the back there. But yeah, our first pole position of the season. It's been a long time coming. It's been something I've wanted to do. I've got a couple of fastest laps. I've got numerous race wins as well, so I was just missing that pole position from the order there. So yeah, but before we kick the race off, let's just remind ourselves what's going on in the standings. And for those of you who saw the last episode, as you'll know, we have an 84-point lead going into the final 2 races of the season. Now, a lot of you would say with 50 points for this round maximum is game, set and match, but these point standings don't account for drop rounds, and some drivers, myself in particular, stand to lose more than others. So I know at this point I'm definitely going to lose more points than Nasty PJ. So whether that has any bearing, it could swing it, I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see whether we can actually, whether Nasty PJ can actually get closer with a couple of good races. So I'm not going to count my chickens before they've hatched. We're going to see what happens at the end of it, and if we win, we win. But looking at the rest of the standings, as you can see, JLBW, Paul and Vectra are locked in a titanic battle for 3rd place. However, Vectra isn't here this week. He's going to miss this round, so highly unlikely that he is going to grab 3rd place. So it's coming down to Paul and JLBW battling it out for there. Very, very tight. Then we've got Atreus sort of alone on 148. He's not here either this week, unfortunately, so it looks like 6th place is going to be where he finishes. Then we've got Colonel, Twisted Tire Fitter and Colonel Red Eye very, very close together there, battling over a 7th place. Then we've got Tro, again, another one who's a little bit alone. He could, theoretically, if he had an absolutely bristling round, he could still catch Colonel Red Eye and Twisted Tire Fitter, but again, it would all depend on Colonel Red Eye, Twisted Tire Fitter just having absolutely terrible rounds, because neither of those stand to lose many points. So we'll see what happens there. Then we've got Mitch, followed by Matt O'Keefe, Matt Jeffrey, who still stands a pretty good chance of maybe overhauling Matt O'Keefe. And then rounding out the last 2, Jumper Digital and John Scott there. But yeah, so I think we're just about ready to go. So we're going to head down to the track now for the live commentary, and we're going to see how myself and everybody else gets on in the sprint race. Okay then guys, here we go. Season finale. Oh, I nailed it. Nasty PJ's got a run on us, but he's got a drive through. Oh, I thought I had the drive-through. When I see it show in minus times, I mean, you probably heard I clicked it before. I clicked the gear before the green light showed, and I think that's what helped me get this half-decent start. So we've got away in the lead, and our title rival has a drive-through. We've got JLBW just behind. Terrible run through there, but we've got a gap. Not a big one. We've got a gap. Now we just got to settle down. There's not many places you can overtake on this track, so just about keep it on the island. Rear end's a bit squirmy though. It's because we've got lower track temperatures than we did in qualifying. Oh, I had to give him room because it looked like he was having a look up the inside. I don't think he'll ever go down into turn 1, it's just too fast. Oh, there we go, that gave us some space. Hang him up on the apex as much as I possibly can. Now I've got Paul closing in on us. He's come from the back of the grid. That gives us a bit of space. Paul seems seemingly on a mission at the minute. So hopefully JRBW will have to concern himself more with defence rather than attack. I mean, as long as we beat Nasty PJ, that's really all that matters. But I would like a win. I would like to win half the races this season, and that means winning the final two. This one and the feature. And I might have to go defensive now because they've got a bit of a run. Got a terrible run out of there. And they are getting closer. The idea, dumb or not, is to try and just hang JRBW up as much as possible on apexes and leave him vulnerable on exit to Paul. If I can compromise his exit and Paul's got a bit of space, you might be able to give him more problems and force him to go defensive and lose time, blah 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 blah. I've lifted, I've slowed, don't you give me a penalty. Fuck off, 2 seconds! Ah, oh, for fuck's sake, I lifted, I dropped, I lost time to the guy behind me. What part of that shit don't you understand, you stupid fucking game? Right, so I'm just going to have to drive it like I stole it now. Oh, come on, bro. I just got hit. Well, unless we can extend the gap and also keep the gap to Paul as well, we're going to end up in second place. I could give up the position quite easily because as things stand, JLBW is going to win, but I don't know, I want to finish first on track. I want the moral victory. I can only hope he balls us up somewhere and just gives us that advantage. Just one little mistake. What? It's doubtful. Jesus Christ, man. What are you doing? I'm not giving you the position. Do you think I want to hand it to you? Well, we got the moral victory. But not the one on the track that we should have got. I lifted twice. The gap between me and JLBW closed. How can that be considered not lifting? I have to lift for a certain amount of time. I don't think I gained anything. I had to get out of the throttle when I got onto the rumble strips, but there we go. Either way, it's second place, and I'm not sure where Nasty PJ finished, so I think we've done well there. But what we're going to do, though, is we're going to hand over to the other Matinho for the post-race analysis. So there you have it then, guys. Second place in the sprint race, and overall disappointed. I've moaned and bitched about the penalty system, and when you look at the replay, you can see that on that corner where I got the penalty, JLBW also went all four wheels off the track, but he didn't get a penalty. So there's a little bit of inconsistency there. I'd said the penalty system's stupid. We're all a bunch of clean races. We're not going to be cheated or stuff like that. So I've been asking for them to turn it off for ages, but apparently not. So it's just disappointing because it was a really good race between myself and JLBW, and to a certain extent Paul for a while. So yeah, he just kind of ruined it in my opinion, but there you go, those things happen, that's racing. But looking at the rest of the finishing order, as we know, JLBW finished second, and myself in, JLBW finished in first, and I finished second. Then we've got Twisted Tyre Fitter, a little bit of ways down the road, so it's very much just a case of me and JLBW fighting our own little battle there. But Twisted Tyre Fitter comes home in third place, and that'll help him keeping that 7th place I believe he currently occupies. Then we've got Tro finishing in 4th, pretty good result for him. He, again, has taken a big stride towards catching Colonel Redeye. And then we've got Paul in 5th place. He was as high as 3rd at one point, and he came all the way back from 8th. But I think he had a bit of an accident going into that the second chicane towards the back end of the race, and he fell down the order to finish 5th there. So a little bit disappointing for him. And then we've got Mitch in 6th place, followed by our title rival Nasty PJ. He got a drive-through penalty for jumping the start. So yeah, that pretty much I think maybe has put paid to his title hopes, but you never know, anything can still happen. Then we've got Matt Jeffrey in 8th, and he's followed home by Colonel Redeye, who actually retired after 5 laps. I'm not quite sure what the issue was, but as you can see, he got 23 seconds worth of penalties. So yeah, there we go. But yeah, so that's the sprint race in the books. As we know, the finishing order from the sprint race will set the grid for the feature race. So we're once again starting on the front row. So yeah, guys, it's been a long old season. It's been an entertaining one. There's plenty of ups, plenty of downs, but we're finally at the last race of the season, the feature race in round 10. So without further ado, let's head down to the track, and one more time, let's see how myself and everybody else gets on in the feature race. Here we go then, guys. Final race of the season. And Tro's got a brilliant start.
Okay, we've lost the place. Don't worry about it. You'll get it back.
Going side by side down here is not a great idea. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, there's fucking anarchy. Absolute anarchy. So we've gone from starting on the front row to watching the lead up get sort of punted out. It didn't really give him room on the inside, but and then just cars flipping everywhere like it's some Michael Bay Hollywood blockbuster. So a lot of cars sustained damage through that one. Just wondering what I do now on in terms of the pits. So Mitch leads. Nasty PJ's third. There's Matt Jeffrey exiting the pits. I think that may be who we got into it with. It was definitely a car that's got the same livery as mine. Oh, just to explain the liveries, because we run this in championship mode in the game, the championship mode kind of messed up, and Nasty PJ fully understandably just couldn't be asked to redo the liveries. Oh, fucking hell, dude. Don't... Oh, for God's sake! Are you fucking kidding me? Oh. Oh. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm going to take my pit stop. This is my end lap. I can't, but I don't know. It's just this race, everybody just seems to have forgotten how to fucking drive. And I don't want to get at them because they're a really good bunch of lads and they're not normally like this, but it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. I know it's the last race of the season, but it's fucking ridiculous. So where the fuck are my pit crew? Well, I drove into my pit box and it... Oh my God.
Okay, you're clear. Go!
I just... Oh my Christ. Right, we've got 13 laps. We're just going to have to drive the fucking doors off the thing. And that's job done. So we're up into 7th. And I think that one might be where Nasty PJ finished. So in order to just absolutely 100% guarantee, if Nasty PJ finishes second, where we did in the first race, then we have to finish 7th or higher. Preferably higher. Just to cancel the results out. He ran wide again there, got him way too deep. Big lock up. And now we're right on him.
That's your best final section so far. Great driving.
Not making the same mistake as Tro trying to do it down here. Doesn't work down here. So close. It would have been dangerous to do it up there because he's just going to turn across me. I don't know what view he runs. Well, I'm going to assume. I'm going to say bonnet cam. I'm going to make a guess there. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to. If you'd like to take a guess on what JRBW's camera preference is. Is he a cockpit man? Or is he a bonnet man? Maybe he's a behind view man. I don't know. Colonel Red Eye's in the pits, so we've got to try and get there before he gets out. Because otherwise, I think that'd be a pretty fucking unjust result if he gets to force me into the wall. Probably not intentionally, but if he gets to force me into the wall with 0 penalty and I finish behind him, I don't think that's particularly just or fair. Oh, he's got a long way deep there. And Colonel Red Eye's out of the pits. Last lap of the race. So we're up to 6th. And that betters Nasty PJ's result from the sprint race. And with Paul leading and Mitch in 2nd, I think this means championship over. The final lap of the season.
Good stuff. You're fastest in sector 1.
A championship winning season. It's been a fun one. We've had a few ups and downs. 5 straight wins in the middle part was a big up. A down was the start of this race that we're running at the minute. But overall, it's been a very enjoyable season. I didn't think coming into it, I know I had some pace, but I didn't think I'd be able to win the championship and win it by as much as I have. But we got ourselves on a roll. We kept ourselves, for the most part, out of trouble. As we come through the final corner. Up the hill one last time. We're going to finish 6th. It's not a great result, but we're also going to win the championship. Come on! We are the champions, my friends. Yes! I've never won an online racing championship before with a group of people, so I'm very proud of this. I know it's Division 2, the faster guys are in Division 1, but I'm very proud of that nonetheless. And I really enjoyed that race. Well, the back part of it, where there was no crashing and bumping around, but the first part of it was still atrocious and shitter. But there we go. Whatever. We're champion. We are the champions. If you enjoyed this race, leave champions in the comments down below. But what we're going to do now is we're going to hand over to the other Matinho for the post-race analysis and the post-season analysis and an announcement. So there you have it then, guys. Round 10 and the season in the books, and I mean, overall as a season, absolutely fantastic, but focusing on the race first of all, disappointing, obviously. Would have liked to have got out and got that other win. I got another win under my belt, but yeah, I mean, Anarchy ensued at the start, and then we got forced off track twice. The second time really cost us time, and then there was the botched pit stop. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I went into the pit box and it just didn't stop me, so I just had to reverse. And I mean, if I'd have gone further down the pit lane, thinking that my pit crew was further down, and I would have had to have gone out again, because if I'd have backed up, I probably would have been disqualified. So yeah, really disappointing way to end the season, but you know, we got what we wanted to do in terms of the points, and that's what's important. But looking at the rest of the finishing order, And Paul gets his second race win of the season there, so well done to him. He's really turned the corner in these last few races, and he's really picked things up there, so well done to him on another win. Then we've got Mitch in second place. He led for quite a while, actually, and I'm not sure whether he ran into a problem or Paul just turned the wick up a little bit, but yeah, he eventually finished his second, which is his, I think it's his joint, or at least his very best performance with this group, definitely of this season, so well done to him. Then we've got Colonel Redeye, the culprit for pushing us, who pushed us into the wall. He apologised afterwards, and you know, I accepted it, but I did have to point out that I think in that scenario, I think it would have been a case that you can see you force someone into the wall and having to back up, and it's cost them a crap load of time. Maybe just stop and let them back through, because there we go. I was kind of an innocent bystander in all that. But yeah, like I said, he apologised. I accept that. That's racing, but I think next time he needs to stop. Then we got Tro in fourth place there, so a good result for him. Then we got Nasty PJ, our title rider, in fifth place. He was right up there in the thick of it for a win, but so I'm not quite sure what happened. Maybe botched the pit stop. I know he got a 2-second time penalty, so yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there with him. Then we've got ourselves in sixth place, as we know of. JLBW in seventh, followed by Twisted Tire Fitter, and Matt Jeffrey rounds out the finishing order there. So yeah, there we go then, guys. So that is the race results, but what does that do for the standings? Well, let's take a look. And as we already know, we have won the championship, so absolutely fantastic. I think realistically, considering the gap is 80 points at the end of it, including the removal of our worst 2 rounds for everybody, I think we could probably say that maybe after the last round, maybe even the second place at Road America, maybe that got us over the line, but it was kind of hard to predict because you never know who's going to lose what, and in terms of their worst 2 rounds, they could come to this round and have a really bad one, and that frees up another result. So yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but like I said, very, very happy with the result there. Nasty PJ had a very, very good start to the season. Had a little bit, he got a little bit unlucky through certain parts as well. But he gave me a good run for my money, and well done to him. I'm sure he'll be right back in the thick of it next season. Then we've got Paul, who secures that third place with that win in the final race there. And I mean, when the drop rounds came into play, you can see he's only 9 points behind Nasty PJ, so Paul really did turn a corner these last 3 or 4 rounds there and really got himself up into the thick of things. Then we got JLBW on 212 points in fourth place, followed by Vector in fifth. Then we've got Arduous in sixth place there, followed by Twisted Tire Fitter, who consolidates seventh. Then we've got Colonel Redeye in eighth, with Tro in ninth. Then we've got Mitch on getting into the top 10 there with 93 points, followed by Matt O'Keefe, who only participated in possibly 2 or 3 rounds of the season, and he had very, very good pace. If you remember, we went down into the final corner at the feature race for the first round, and I nudged him and he got the win there. I think if his connection gets sorted, he could definitely be shooing for a potential championship run next season if he does return. Then we've got Matt Jeffrey, who unfortunately didn't have a good round today, and he wasn't able to overhaul Matt O'Keefe, so disappointing for him. And then, of course, you got the final 2, Jumper Digital and John Scott, rounding out the standings. So, yeah, we've won the championship. We've done it. We've secured it. Very, very happy with it. Like I said, the first championship I've won racing online with a group of people, so very, very happy with it. Now, the other thing I mentioned in the little bit after we'd finished the race was that I have an announcement to make. Now, normally what happens at the end of the season is the top 3 guys from Division 2 move up to Division 1, and I was looking forward to this fact, you know, the possibility of racing against the faster guys to see where I stack up and how I could perform. And I said towards the back end of Season 2 that I didn't want to move up to Division 1 until I won the Division 2 Championship. And when it started looking like that would be the case, I was really excited to go and test my skills in Division 1. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing that. And I'm not staying in Division 2 either. I'm not going to be racing at all in Season 5. And the reason's very simple. It just comes down to the fact that they're doing touring cars again, and I have zero interest in doing touring cars again. It feels like they're just treading over old ground. They did the first 3 seasons of the Monday Night League with touring cars. This is season 4 in the GT car, so I thought maybe they'd progress. up to GT4 or maybe go into another class, single seaters, the LMP1 cars or something else. So the fact that it keeps coming back to touring cars is a little bit jarring, but it came down to a vote and everybody voted and touring cars won. So, you know, there's no blame. I'm not angry about it, but you know, sometimes I have to fight through the pain barrier in order to finish these races, and I'm not going to do that if the kind of cars we're driving just doesn't interest me. So, yeah, I'm not going to be racing in Season 5, so some people may be disappointed, some might be quite happy, I don't know, I don't care, but whatever. No more WSRC for at least the season, just purely because I don't want to do touring cars again. So, yeah, there we go. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll find something to do with my Monday nights. Maybe I'll just sit around polishing my Division 2 Championship trophy. Who knows? The world is my oyster now. I'm Division 2 champion. But there we go again, guys. That's the end of today's video and the end of the season. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Not only this video, but the season as a whole. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this, you would like to see more Project Cars 2 or just general racing content from myself, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to get involved with the guys from the Weekly Sim Racing Championships, as always, they run various different events over various different days, just one-night championships or multi-week championships. If you're looking for a strong bunch of races and clean bunch of races, ignoring that feature race, then there's a link to the Facebook group in the description. Tell them Matinho sent you. But once again, guys, thank everybody so much for watching. Stay cool, and as always, I will catch you in the next video. Peace!